What's up, everybody? It is the Tony Cutillo Show, and we're talking Philadelphia Eagles. It's Victory Monday. Again, if you're live on Facebook, jump over to YouTube, Tony Cutillo Show, over on that YouTube channel. Get those subscribers up, get those followers up. If you're on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe, and make sure you get those comments flow, man. How you feel? I want to hear it, okay? I want to hear it, because I'm going to ask a question. Did we even win? Did we win a football game? Because from the outskirts of everything, or the outskirts, I should say, it looks like we didn't win a game. Because if you follow along anywhere else, so many people are so pissed off and so negative. I feel like we never even won. Like, I think people forget what time it is. Again, always as we do, like the Pencil Bills, powered by Rise React Media, bets powered by Odd Shopper Tales over there at the Odd Shopper family. As always, make sure, again, like, subscribe. You know the deal. If you're on YouTube, make sure you're doing that. We're building up. I think we're up to like a 377, so we're rolling, not paying for nothing. This is all organic. Again, this is the Tony Cutillo Show. If you're live on Facebook, get those comments coming. They might not get in there if you're on Facebook. If you're on X, get those comments coming. How you feeling about the Birds? How you feeling about, we're going to talk the NFL in general. Got a big game tonight to see who we're going to play. But I'm going to say this again. We did win, right? Like, all my Facebook family out there, we did win, right? Like, because I see a lot of people on the timeline, a lot of people talking like we didn't even win a game. Like, I'm trying to figure this out. Last time I checked, it was 22-10 right here. Final score, Eagles take care of business against Green Bay, and it honestly wasn't even close. Yes, I do have in the title, it was dominant, because it was. 4 turnovers for the Green Bay Packers. It was a goddamn body bag bowl, man. They were knocking people out left and right. I ain't seen that many people get knocked out or lit up in a long time, okay, in a football game. Jordan Love was absolutely shaken, okay? And I'm a Jordan Love guy. I love what he did last year. I think this year's just been a tough year for Jordan Love. A lot of nagging injuries. Obviously, the first one happened against the Eagles in Brazil in week 1, but a lot of different, a lot of turnover on that roster right there. They've had some frontline injuries as well. So I don't peg this entire year, because they still obviously had a decent year, but because they have a hell of a head coach in Matt LaFleur. But looking at Jordan Love, man, Jordan Love would want nothing to do with it, man. Jordan Love did not want nothing to do with the Philadelphia Eagles on defense yesterday. He really didn't. You could tell he was shaking, right? He was shaking. And I'll tell you what, man, like, again, if you don't think Jalen Carter, and I called this a year ago, is the next coming of Ndamukong Suh, I don't know what you're looking at. Because just watching everything he does, the way he gets into the heads of the opposing defense, the way he just dominates up the middle. There's so many different things that we have to look at about the dominance of Jalen Carter. My man Japan checking in says, "Fly Eagles fly." Absolutely. Adam, my man checking in, says Jordan Love stinks. He's not worth $250 million. I listen, that's market, man. That's market. Adam says, "I know you shocked about your boy Baker." I was. I listen, I will say this. I wasn't shocked, because I think Washington's a hell of a team. They're a very, very good team. The Commanders are very, very talented. They're coached very well. And Jaden Daniels is the real deal. And it sucks that he's in the NFC East. It does. But so I'm not, listen, again, I'm not overly shocked at that. But you're right. Japan, he kind of shit the bed, right? He didn't play well. That happens, right? That happens. And that's why I say, like, everybody says the playoffs, everybody's talking about Jalen Hurts, and everybody's saying how he was rusty, he didn't have a good game. Everybody's talking about his statistics. But here's the thing about Jalen Hurts, and I continue to say this. The biggest thing, we've talked about, and you've heard this multiple times, right? You've heard it multiple times when, what was it? The announcers would say it on for Buffalo, okay? When Buffalo was playing Denver, and they would say, listen, the only way that Buffalo is going to lose this game is if they turn the ball over, right? And what's the one thing that Jalen Hurts didn't do yesterday? Didn't turn the ball over. Okay? He did not turn the ball over. So again, this brings me back, okay? This brings me back to the exact same point that we were talking about before. Hold on to the ball, control the game, control the clock, and play stellar defense. And that's how you win in the playoffs. And that's what they did. That's what they did. Japan says Jalen Carter will be my defensive MVP next year. No cap. I agree. Again, the biggest thing is going to be his attitude, right? And we've seen this a lot. Biggest thing is going to be his attitude. But when you talk about defensive stalwarts, what about Nolan Smith? You know, nobody's talking enough about Nolan Smith. This is a guy in Philadelphia that we thought was dead. This is a guy that we thought was a complete bust. You heard he didn't have the size. You heard he didn't have the moxie. He didn't have the makeup, right? Nobody talked about Nolan Smith being dominant like he is. 2 sacks yesterday, and he's continuing the last 4, 5, 6 weeks, man. He's really putting it together. He packed on about 20 pounds of muscle in the offseason. He got quicker, he got stronger, and he's driven. And, you know, you could tell by that dude. Like, when they drafted him, you could tell by his comments when he said, I just want to effing hit somebody, right? This is a guy that understands the whole gangrene mentality. This guy that understands the Philadelphia Eagles culture. This guy that understands what it means to be a goddamn football player, okay? That's what he understands, is how to be a football player. And he's showing right now, you know, and at the best time, right? At the best time for the Philadelphia Eagles, for a guy that we need to step up on that line, a guy that we need to step up on that line, and he's doing it, man. He's doing it, and I'll tell you what, I think it's just the next level for him. I really do. You know, he's got a great. Reminds me a lot of Derek Burgess. Remember Derek Burgess? He reminds you a lot of Derek Burgess for the Eagles. You know, he really does. Adam says, I don't care who wins tonight. Bring on whoever. It's a shame about the Kobe Dean. That sucks. It really does. The Kobe, and it didn't even look that bad at first, right? I didn't think it was that bad, but that's a terrible break for a kid. I'm going to call him a kid because he's still a kid. Was having a career year, man, and was going to get paid. And now he doesn't even get the bag, man. He doesn't even get that paper that he's worked so hard to get. And that's another reason why I'm a huge proponent all the time of NFL players, NBA players, Major League Baseball players getting their bag, holding out for the right deal, understanding the market value, understanding that, things like this happen. Like, the Eagles aren't going to come to him and say, oh, we're good. We know you'll be fine. We're just going to pay you like you were never injured. It doesn't happen, right? It just doesn't happen that way. So you really have to look out for you. You do. Nobody else is doing it, right? Nobody else is doing it. So prayers up to the Kobe Dean. Hopefully he gets back, and I mean, obviously not this year, right? But hopefully he can be ready for next year. I mean, that's going to be, the talk. What goes on in this all season now? Is he going to be ready? And again, that's the thing too. My man E checking in. What's up, E? Are we okay? Are you guys okay with Oren Burks? Are you guys okay if it's J. Trot Jr.? Are you guys okay? I'm not. I'm not. The only thing I like about Burks is he's a solid football player, but for everybody who says that, again, that this loss, we can not look past the loss, but we can overcome this loss of Nakobe Dean. I think I want to know what you're smoking, because again, this is a guy who was hitting all the right gaps. This is a guy who was the signal caller on the defense. This was the guy that was continuing to flourish in this Vic Fangio scheme. And now all of a sudden he's gone. He's gone. And that's a problem to me. That's a big problem. And Adam, I hear you, next man. I don't think that is next man up, man. Honestly, I think that I trust Vic Fangio. I do. But if you remember, man, Josh Jacobs had a hell of a run up that gut, didn't he? Hell of a run. And I know I'm not trying to compare it on one game, but it's not about making a tackle. It's about hitting the right gaps. It's about disrupting plays. It's about breaking through that first line of defense and making a guy roll right when he wants to roll left. It's about taking away that flat pass, taking away that easy slant, taking away that skinny post. I'm telling you what, man. Yeah, you're right, Mike. We have no choice but to move forward. But what I'm saying is, for the people out there that are dreaming, okay, and smoking crack like Pookie from New Jack City, right? These people talk about we could overcome this with no problem. And that's not the case, man. This is going to be a concern of mine. And I think it should be a concern of everybody, right? And he says it right here, right? Rams and Vikings have tough running backs. So exactly. I mean, you got Aaron Jones coming at you. You got Kyron Williams coming at you, right? Two studs. Got two studs. That's a problem. Listen, yeah, you're right. We got to move forward, but it's one hell of a concern. Mike says I had a hell of a run against a lot of teams this year, man. He did, man. He did. And he was a guy a lot of people wrote off. Right? Let's not forget, like, a lot of people wrote off Nakobe Dean. A lot of people said, oh, he's a bust. Not going to happen, right? A lot of people wrote off Nakobe Dean. A lot of people. And, I'm not saying I did, but I'm not saying I didn't. I'll be honest with you. I was like, wow, this guy's not showing me what I thought. He's not bulking up. He's not getting it. And that's my fault. That's my ignorance, right? I should have understood that, learning this Vic Fangio scheme takes a little bit. And once you get it down, if you can adapt, it's going to put you out there and show you are a stud. And I should have done that. It's my own fault, my own stupidity for not thinking that, right? And I'm glad, man. Adam says, you think Kellen Moore, I see all this Kellen Moore talk, right? I see all the Kellen Moore talk. And I mean, let me ask you guys something. Do you really think that was Kellen Moore? I don't. That offense, to me, looked nothing like a Kellen Moore offense. Nothing. And here we go again with the questions, right? I don't care what anybody says, man. Nick Sirianni had his hands in that game plan. Nick Sirianni had his hands in that play calling, man. Exactly, Mike. Where were the slants? Where were our AJ? Not one slant to AJ Brown? Not one? Right? Nothing? Again, we were going to those long developing plays. And I'm sorry, you could call me crazy. You could say that no matter what, that I'm wrong. But I'm telling you what, when we go for those long developing plays, that says Nick Sirianni, man. That says Nick Sirianni to me. That's why this shit wasn't working before, right? That's why this shit wasn't working before. My man Thomas checked me. Yo, Thomas. My man Thomas checking in. I definitely remember you, man. From the Astros, Phillies. Listen, I love this, man. Thomas, what is up, my man? Listen, the final, I stopped that, and I'm doing a whole new thing this year, man. So hopefully you can follow me over here at the Tony Cutillo Show. We'll be going 2 nights a week, and there's all different segments. But yeah, man, I remember popping on. We were talking Astros Phillies World Series, actually having a really good conversation, man. I hope my Texans can listen. I would love the Texans to play the Eagles, man. That would be great. Honestly, man, I agree, man. That would be great, man. Exactly. Mike says, get this long drawn shit out of here. You can't. Those long developing plays do not work. They just don't work all this, especially when you got a guy with a bad back and a bad knee. I just don't understand it. Thomas, real fast about your Texans, man. I'll tell you what, I was impressed. I wrote them off in the playoffs, man. I wrote them off. CJ Stroud to me really took a couple steps back this year, but I don't know if it was just all his fault, honestly. But what I will say, what would have me hyped up, as a Texans fan, is the way that D'Amico Ryans just threw a master class on defense in that game. Like, he had those dudes so fired up. D'Amico Ryans had those guys so fired up, they thought they could have beat anybody. And that brings us up, right? What are the chances Texas beat the KC? I will tell you, I will tell you, listen, that's the one thing, man. Confidence is contagious, right? Even as a grown man, confidence is contagious. When you have somebody who is extremely confident in you, a guy who, a guy, girl, whoever it is, who trusts you, who believes in you when maybe all the doubters don't, right? Maybe all of that. That's a huge deal, man. That's a huge deal. Will Anderson looked like a stud again, man. Like, come on, you got Stingley out there locking people down. I mean, this is a very underrated defense. Thomas says they only just by like exactly. Exactly. Listen, this is, I'm curious to see what Kansas City team shows up. He outcoached Harbaugh. I thought, listen, I was in on the Chargers, man. I'll be honest with you. I was all charged up in that game. And I'll tell you what, took that young quarterback and made Herbert look pedestrian. Made Justin Herbert look pedestrian. Remember, Justin Herbert only threw like one pick all year. The dude threw 3 of them in that game. Deflected or not, it didn't matter, man. Yeah, it didn't matter. Thomas says, yep. He says, better chance of the upset, the Texans versus KC or Commanders versus the Lions. That's an interesting one. Oh, yeah, that's right. He threw 4. I think one of them was tipped, but still, right? In the books, it doesn't matter. It's still 4. But like Gene Hackman, 4 Hoosiers. Justin Herbert just failed. This is a good question. I'm curious. Everybody tuned it in. What do you think's the better chance of an upset? Is it Texans versus the Chiefs or Commanders versus the Lions? This is a tough one to me, man. This is a tough one. I think the better chance is the Texans. I think the better chance for an upset is the Texans, and I'll tell you why. Mike says I'm so confused with the Lions. Well, that's why I'm taking the Texans. Thomas, here's what I'm thinking. Thomas says I'm biased fan in Houston right here. Says Commanders have a way better chance. I disagree with that, and I'll tell you why. I don't expect the Washington defense to be able to hold up against the Detroit Lions offense. I just don't. Listen, you can say what you want, but Baker just had a bad game. Okay. Lattimore's not 100%. That defense with Bobby Wagner, they can be beat, right? And there's just so many weapons in Detroit. It's very hard for the Commanders on defense to be able to stop that team. So I look at it on the other end when you talk about, here's the thing. You're right. I know what you're saying. Can they stop Jane Daniels? I don't think they can. But the problem is I don't think they can outscore the Lions. See, that's the thing, right? I don't think they can stop Jaden Daniels. I don't. But I will say this. I don't ever put anything past Aaron Glenn. I do. I like Aaron Glenn a lot. He's one hell of a defensive coordinator. I mean, obviously, he was a great cornerback, right, for so many years, whether it be with the Jets or whether it be with the New England Patriots. But Aaron Glenn, he's got they've gone through injury after injury after injury, and somehow, some way, he's been able to piece things together. It ain't always been pretty, and they've given up some points. But the problem is, I don't think Washington, you're telling me that if this is a shootout and I need a stop, I don't think Washington can get the stop against the Lions. But I do think the Commanders can I do think the Texans can get the stop against the Chiefs. I honestly do. If any year you're going to be able to stop the Chiefs, this will be the year. I still think the Chiefs are deadly. I still think they're the best team in the AFC. Okay, but at the end of the day, I still think that they are a beatable team. As much as Andy Reid wants to say, listen, man, we'll just step on the pedal once the playoffs start. I don't think it's that easy this year. They did get Hollywood Brown back, right? They did get Pacheco back. I don't think it's as easy as you think, right? And I continue to say this, that the X factor to me, for the Kansas City Chiefs, of all people, is Xavier Worthy. It's not Travis Kelce. It's not DeAndre Hopkins. It's not Hollywood Brown. It's not Patrick Mahomes. It's Xavier Worthy. And you're going to be like, what? Listen to me. Listen, hear me out. If you look at the way that team's constructed in Kansas City, right? You look at the receivers. D-Hop's not going long anymore. He's a possession guy. Travis Kelce looks like he's 70 years old. He's not the same guy right now. They do have some athletic tight ends that go up the middle and hit that seam. Yes. Okay. Pacheco's still not 100%. Hollywood Brown, as much as I like his speed, the dude does not run crisp routes. I could tell you that. So my thing is, as you've seen Xavier Worthy grow into not just a jet sweep guy, right? Yeah, not just a jet sweep guy, looking at a guy that, could do a little more, kind of like what they were doing to build up Marvin Mims, but obviously better. I'll tell you what, I just think that Xavier Worthy is the X factor. My man Jimmy Wags checking in says, I think Kelce balls out because he knows this is his last year. You know what? Maybe you're right. I just don't think he can, Jim. I don't. I think he's done. Yeah. Thomas is damn. You all might have to play the Vikings. I'm going to be honest with you, Thomas. And maybe this is bad confidence, but I'm not worried about the Vikings. I'm not. I'm really not. Listen, I've said this before, and I'm very, very trying to keep this as unbiased as possible. But the Philadelphia Eagles they're light years ahead of anybody in the NFC, in my opinion. I'm sorry. I am. I'm sorry. And you know what? Maybe that comes back to bite me. I don't know, but I'm not worried about Detroit. I'm not worried about Minnesota. I'm not worried about LA. The only teams the only team that does scare me of all teams is the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are the only team that scares me right now. If you want to talk about the entire NFL, and you want to talk about if I think the Philadelphia Eagles are going to make a Super Bowl run, to me, it's the Baltimore Ravens. I think the Baltimore Ravens are that electric on the offensive side of the ball, are that dominant on the offensive side of the ball. And now that their defense is really starting to play, I think that's the ultimate test, right? When you think about it, it's going to be the Philadelphia Eagles defense against the Baltimore Ravens offense. I mean, that's going to be the chess match, right? That's going to be, Todd Monick against Vic Fangio. I mean, that's what it's going to be. If they both get there, that's what it's going to be. And you're right. Who wrote in here? Oh yeah, Adam. Yes, Ravens Bills is going to be epic. What a goddamn game that's going to be. Lamar will choke in the playoffs. I'm not too sure about that. I see a different Lamar this year. I see a different Lamar. I do. He's very, very efficient, man. Very, very. And for my money, he's MVP. Not Josh Allen. To me, it's Lamar Jackson. It is. It's Lamar Jackson 9 times over every single time. It's Lamar. Those stats, that efficiency, what he's doing. I'm tired of hearing about the excuses. Like, why do we have to give the excuses? Like, and that's what bothers me, right? Like the Derrick Henry excuse. I hate that. I so hate that. You have no idea. I hate when they want to, it's because he has Derrick Henry. Are you kidding? Come on, man. Like, so are we going to say that about everybody? No, eventually you have to see him for what he is. And he's become a very efficient passer. He knows when to go and when to not. He knows, he does everything the right way right now, man. He is the MVP. He is the MVP. Thomas, I'm going to try to get caught up on these comments. How about that Commanders field goal kicker before he kicked that? Man, like the kickers, there's been so much with the kickers this year. It's been so crazy, man. It really has. It's been so crazy. I don't even know what to think about it, man. I don't even know what to think about it. Thomas says, how do Eagles look at Super Bowl contenders? And what are you thinking? Yeah, man, listen, I think that if the Philadelphia Eagles do not get to the Super Bowl, this is a failed year. It's a failed year. This is the best team, that we've had in a very, very long time. I think it's the best team we've ever had, to be honest with you, depth-wise. It really is. He says, I disagree. You got to tell me why, man. Why is Allen the MVP over Lamar? That's what I need to know. What is Josh Allen? What has he done different than Lamar? What has he done different? I'm being honest, like honest debate here. You know, why in your eyes is it Josh Allen over Lamar? That's what I want to know. He says, I see a different Josh Allen, but I'm a huge Allen fan, not much so Jackson. Listen, here's the biggest thing I love about Jackson is he's basically calling his own offense at times. And that's something that a lot of people said he couldn't do. A lot of people listen, you know how this world is. Everybody stereotypes, right? Everybody stereotypes. They think because he's a hip hop dude and he likes rap music and he keeps his circle close right away, you know, rappers can't be intelligent, right? I mean, again, I just think that is the stereotype, and that is a lot of people think that because there was a lot of that. I had my man Cordell Woodland on for 105.7 a fan out there in Baltimore a couple years ago, and he talked about that. And you know, here's a guy in the Be More area, right? In the Be More area, has zero weapons. I disagree, man. Like, see, here's where we have to stop. What do we like? If we did that every single year, okay, this trophy would have never went to somebody. Then why did Patrick Mahomes win a goddamn MVP? Right? Like we have to stop. Wait, he didn't have. Well, guess what? He had zero weapons. I disagree with that. He did have some weapons. Okay, he had a running back. Okay, in James Cook. Okay, that turned himself into one of the best in the league. He had a very dynamic tight end in Dalton Kincaid. He had another guy who took the next step in Khalil Shakir that has been a matchup nightmare. Okay, he's been a matchup nightmare. Okay, when you think about it, and I'll be honest with you. Okay, tell me honestly, the weapons besides Derrick Henry that Lamar has that you're so crazy about. Are you going gaga over Rashad Bateman? Are you going gaga over Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely? Very good players. Come on, man. Like Zay Flowers, right? Yeah, very good player. But statistically, come on, man. Like you can't just say that. You know, Allen gets it because no, you can't. I don't think you can. Jimmy says, I want the NFL to do away with conference playoffs and combine both conference for playoffs and reseed. It's not a bad idea, Jimmy. That's not a bad idea at all. I don't mind that. I mean, look, you know, right now, no matter what way you do, what way you put it out there, these are the best teams in all football playing right now. Anyone saying Allen gets I love it. Says Allen gets MVP must be a Bills fan, dude. Eric, okay, my man Eric checking in says Henry, Andrews, Flowers, Bateman greater than anything the Bills have. Let's look at that because I want to have a respectful debate, right? This is why we like this. You know, this isn't Philly radio where you get hung up on because you have a difference of opinion, right? So Henry, obviously, right? I mean, I think let's just right there, we overthrow him out. He is in a world of his own, 100%, right? I mean, it's no contest. Then you go Mark Andrews, who again, Mark Andrews, after his first 4 weeks, had a hell of a year, right? Had a hell of a year. But then when you go Flowers, Bateman, again, I do think Shakir needs to be in that statement. Both him and Flowers did get banged up and miss some games. I do think they need to be that statement. Rashad Bateman, he hasn't set the world on fire. I do think Isaiah Likely is very, very good. But I think you have to add James Cook in there because I think the way they utilized James Cook this year and they utilized all three of those running backs, you know, they did a really good disguise of calling those plays. Eric says, in my opinion, Josh Allen carried the Bills this season in two big wins versus KC and the Lions. The game he had versus the Lions won him the MVP. I mean, listen, yes, you know, he did, but last time I checked, Lamar's had a couple games of 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns, 100 yards rushing. I mean, like, you can't throw that away either, man. Like, you can't throw that away. Listen, I had Derrick Henry on my fantasy team, and there was weeks where Derrick Henry did not produce anything. You know why? Because Lamar Jackson was taking over. So it's listen, it's a good argument though. Either listen, I think we can both agree on this. Both of these dudes are uber talented. Both these guys deserve the accolades that are coming their way, right? And one thing I will say is, think about how lucky we are. Think about how lucky we are that we're going to get to watch them this week coming up. We're going to watch them go head on in the NFL playoffs, man. I think that is great, man. That is a great thing. My man Thomas says, dude, Lamar is the clear winner. Let's be real, guys. Listen, we'll find out, right? We are going to find out. Either way, it's a very, very good argument. Very, very good argument. But getting back a little now, Eric says, would you change your mind if Josh Allen outplays Jackson on Sunday and leads the Bills to a win? I mean, here's the thing. Obviously, we know that the playoffs don't count, right, towards the trophy. However, I definitely am curious to see how it plays out. Eric, you said it, bro. Like, no disagreement from here. Either way you slice, he says Lamar and Allen are both light years better than Hurts. Obviously, 100%. Jalen is a different quarterback, right? He's a different quarterback. Jalen definitely needs a really good play scheme, really good play calling, and a really good awareness. The one thing that the only thing that worries me about Jalen is that they did disguise a lot of coverages against him. And again, guys weren't open, by the way. Like, so I know a lot of people want to blame everything on Jalen, and everybody wants to be like right away, Jalen stinks, Jalen stinks, Jalen stinks. We need a new quarterback. We need a better quarterback. But guess what, man? There wasn't a lot of guys open, and they were doing a lot of different stunts up at the front. Shout out to them and their defensive coordinator. I forget his name. But Thomas says, I remember watching Jalen in high school at Channelview near Houston. Dude was a dog. And Thomas, right. That's the one. He's got the dog mentality. That he's got the winner's mentality. Right? But he needs a support system. I think we all know that. I think he can't do it by himself. There are certain plays he can do by himself, but I don't think he can actually take a game over by himself right now. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think. Eric says, let's keep it 100 to Sunday. Bills versus Ravens is the real AFC Championship game. I mean, look, it basically is the Super Bowl right there, right? If you look at it, it kind of is. I agree. Eric says he needs to learn how to go through progressions and read a defense. That's just my opinion. I think we all see the same thing. Listen, I agree. I'm going to think about that one play specifically. I was sitting here with my two sons, and I was telling them, I forget what play it was. I think it was when he threw it out, and he had an opportunity to throw it to Goddard if he would have hit him right away. He waited too long, then Goddard got covered, and then he rolled out to the right and just threw a bad throw. And it just said it didn't have anybody, right? And again, that's why I agree with Eric right here. He needs to learn how to go, not only go through his progressions of read defense, he needs to have to do it quicker, right? He has to do it quicker. I think it's funny. Two Erics in here agree with Allen being MVP. That is funny, right? What's the odds? Thomas says, whatever his flaws, have not watched much of his NFL career. Honestly, Thomas, for him, it's progression. Meaning, his progression as a quarterback and being able to understand a scheme on the defensive side and to be able to get rid of the ball quickly. Read the defense, man. Read the defense. And that's his biggest thing. He needs to read the defense better. And that's what I've always said, right? Like when people were bashing Jalen Hurts, the first thing I was trying to say is, stuff like, when you have a dog, like you just heard Thomas say in high school, right? He was a dog. When you have a dog, the dog's never going to stop trying to learn. The dog's never going to stop trying to do film study. The dog's never going to stop and try. Okay. And you get better by repetition. You get better by consistency. So that's why I'm not concerned about it always being like this. And I feel like he will get better, right? Now, again, is he good enough? Yes. That's the thing, man. Like, you look around the league and you look at some of these choices. Of course, he's definitely good enough to get and win a Super Bowl. Honestly, when you have this defense that's rolling behind you, I mean, my lord. And the one thing I want to bring up too, and I know this was bringing up a lot, but it's the first thing I said, when I watched this game. Last time I recall, I don't remember, even when we won the Super Bowl in Philadelphia, we didn't have a great showing. And I know everybody showed it, that Atlanta game, but even games leading up to that Atlanta game in the playoffs, Nick Foles didn't look great. Right? Nick Foles didn't look great. He balled out in the Super Bowl, and nobody could have predicted that. Okay? Let's call it the way it is, man. Let's call it the way it is. Dougie P. Dougie, no, man. Nah. You know what, man? I don't even care. Dougie P's not getting a head coaching job anywhere. Sorry. If somebody hires Dougie P as their next head football coach, they're out of their mind. They really are. They're out of their mind. Hate to change subjects. Are you going to talk Sixers? I wasn't trying to tonight. Yeah, I was just gonna, I was just doing a straight football stream. Again, once I get this going, is the plan, because I still have some graphics being made and segments getting sponsored up and things of that nature. It'll be a hour and a half to 2 hour show. And obviously it'll be segments where we roll into Eagles talk, and we roll straight national NFL talk, NBA talk, WNBA talk. I'm going to have a lot of different things, have a lot of different guests on here. Doctors, authors, youth sports talk is going to be huge. I'm going to be talking really, really soon about all the money's being stolen in the Bucks County area. I actually have some people coming on to talk about that are actually involved in the situation, which is pretty cool that they're going to come and talk to me, because I'm friends with some of their friends, and they want to get their story out there. So there's a lot of things this show is going to cover. So I can't wait for that. But tonight I was just trying to talk some NFL, man. And yes, Adam is right. Raw on Netflix at 8 p.m. So see, I got to be ready for Raw, man. I got to be ready for Raw. I definitely got. I got to see Charlotte come back, man. The Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl, guys. We'll see. We'll see. Eric says, we will talk Sixers when they sell the team and get an owner that's passionate about the city and wants to win a chip. Nobody's getting behind an ownership group that owns the Devils and the Commanders. I'll tell you what, it is so strange, man, when I got to watch that knucklehead on the sideline of Washington, man. Like, it's just so weird. It is. It's tough. It is. And I'll say one thing about the Sixers. He's like, are the Sixers bad? I know the Rockets are hot. The Rockets are young. They're young and hungry, man, and they're rolling out there. I like it. I wish we were young out here in Philadelphia. We're like the old age home out here in Philadelphia, man. Like I told everybody I was concerned about Paul George, but nobody wanted to listen. I told everybody, 2 years ago, I didn't think we will ever win a championship with Joel Embiid. And I hate to say that I think I'm going to be right. It's just the window's closed, fellas. Like, I'm not sure what you see. Think about it, man. This ain't the year. We're 50-1, in Vegas, which means we're not going anywhere. We got a tough stretch coming up the next 10 to 12 games. We're probably going to lose 50 to 60 to 70% of them. We're going to be way out of contention. You have a coach in Nick Nurse who is absolutely befuddled and disgusted and annoyed, and this isn't what he signed up for. And I know he's annoyed. I know he's disgusted. Okay, I do. You see it on his face. Okay, it's not what he signed up for. And again, my man, peace out. I'll be back with it. Thomas, thanks for checking in, brother. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for checking in, my man Thomas. Make sure you like and subscribe to Tony Cutillo Show, my man. I really appreciate it. If you're checking in and you're not on YouTube and you get on YouTube one day, make sure you get over there. I know you're already signed up. Make sure you like and subscribe the stream over there, because everything eventually is just going to be on YouTube. Right now, I'm just kind of like I'm growing it everywhere, but it's going to be predominantly on YouTube. Listen, man, I'm excited too, man. I got like 20,000 views last week on YouTube, which is insane, man. It's crazy. He says they lost the Magic. Come on, man. They lost to the Magic. I listen. Now, here's what I will say, Adam. Don't underestimate. Listen, I love the Orlando Magic. I love the Orlando. They just got Paolo back, right? I love the Orlando Magic. The Orlando Magic is, in my opinion, the NBA's best kept secret. The Orlando Magic in 2 years will be the Oklahoma City Thunder of this year. Mark my words, man. The Magic will be the OKC of 2026. Okay, when you get Franz back, you got Paolo, you got like that team is legit. Right? That team is legit. They got shooters, they got a really good coach, and they got good ownership. And guess what they do that a lot of NBA teams don't, right? Right. Eric says exactly. The two unfortunate injuries to Paolo and to Franz Wagner, right? Both of those guys they're two number one guys, right? Unfortunate. But you look at the way the East is going, and you look at this young team and the way they're being coached. And by the way, you took it right out, E. You took it right out. I was just going to say, know what they do well? They draft well. They draft well. That's something that the rest of the NBA sometimes can't understand, man. They draft so well. And yes, Jalen Suggs, another fantastic, right? I mean, they get contributions from all over in Orlando. Even guys like Wendell Carter, who kind of took a step back a little bit, right? But he has shown that he has the ability to play really good, like 10 to 12 minutes, man. Suggs is a dog, man. Listen, man, I love the Orlando Magic. I do. I like the Orlando Magic a lot. So I'm not surprised. They're young, they're hungry, and you know what? That's a good yes. Interesting. Oh, the other Wagner brother. Yes, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about Jalen Suggs. Okay, yeah. The other Wagner brother. Yes. Mortiz, is it Mortiz Wagner? I think his name is. But yeah, trading for Bam, Eric. I'll tell you, man. Think about that. I agree with you. Like, to get that veteran leadership, that tough, gritty, hungry Heat mentality, Heat culture. Yep, there it is. Moritz Wagner. That's it. Again, not as good as Franz, but again, very, very good. Right, coming off the bench. You think about it. Now that we're you look at this, and I want to pull them up now. Now that you got me thinking about it, because they are so good, man. Like I came in this year, and that was my team. I kept saying, man, let me get behind the Orlando Magic, because number one, it's wide open for them, right? Wide open for them. But if you look at their roster, okay? I'll share this. Heat culture is overrated. I don't disagree. I mean, I highly disagree. I do, Mike. My man, Tipton Sports Network out there. I love it. My man, Michael Tipton, dropping his show every single day. I love it, brother. Doing some big things, man. But I do disagree with you right there. I don't think it's overrated. I don't. I think it's legit. I do. I think it's legit. Now, looking at some of these guys that we're talking about, obviously you're talking about Jalen Suggs, right? Franz Wagner, 23. Suggs, 23. Tristan DeSilvia, 23. Anthony Black, 20. Paolo, 22. Cole Anthony, 24. We forgot about Goga, 25. Like, these guys are made to win for the future. And like Eric's saying, man, the one like Goga, again, Goga would be a hell of a backup to Bam. Imagine a team that's got Bam and Goga with this. Like, I'll tell you, man, KCP is the elder statesman. Obviously, him and Gary Harris are the shooters that you're going to kind of fill in every year, get the older guys to come off the bench, kind of like what we have in Philly on a whole team. But yeah, man, listen, you don't have to. The love goes both ways, brother. Seriously, I see you grinding every day, and it ain't friggin' easy, bro. It ain't friggin' easy. I mean, I got 3 other jobs, so I can't do it with the way that you're doing it. And I respect the hell out of you for doing it the way you're doing it, because people don't realize how hard it is to scrape together the pennies in order to do your passion until it picks up, man. Until it picks up. So, Mike, do me a favor, man. Just drop your show, your YouTube channel, whatever you want in the comments, in the threads, man, and I'll put it up there, man, so I can post it. Go check out my boy, man. He says he's a Spurs fan. That's real culture. That is real culture. I'll take the Spurs. I'll take Spurs culture over Heat culture. I'll take Pop over Smalls. I will, but I'll tell you what, that's not a bad one too, right? And how about my man? How about my man CP3 out there being that veteran leader? Actually, he had 6 threes the other day. Like, CP3, man, my man. Like, I love CP3, right? I love CP3. And, looking at CP3, with the way he is, taking over, right? That elder statesman role, right? The way he's taking over that elder statesman's role. So, again, man, like, that's why I like CP3. That's why I like CP3. Because, he's, I said this before, right? And I'll say it again. He's the best player that nobody talks about in the NBA for so many years, man. Right? For so many years. And, nobody ever talked about CP3. And I honestly think, right? I honestly think that's the reason why is because he played all those years. Okay? And played all those years over there in Charlotte, out in the West, a team that it didn't matter, right? A team that, didn't matter. Oh, Jamal Mosley, man. Jamal Mosley, I'm sorry, is the Magic's head coach. I'm sorry, I just saw that. CP3 was overshadowed by LeBron. Yes. There's my man, right here. Go check my man's YouTube show out over there, right there. There, it's in the comments. You won't be disappointed. Drops every day, man. My man's there like damn near every day. He's not just, like he says, he's Spurs culture. He's not just Texas, man. He talks everything, man. He talks the topics. He does his own thing, man. He's doing well. He's been on ESPN radio before. He's had his own show. And again, unfortunately, he probably hit, some politics, right? Like a lot of people in radio do. And now he's starting his own thing, man. So all the support we can give him, let's do that. 100%. Eric said, if San Antonio could swing a trade for Fox, they fast forward to a contender. Sochan is, oh man, Jeremy. Yes. What a shooter, man. What a shoot, man. You imagine De'Aaron Fox on, me and you are thinking on the same level. Like I know a lot of people are talking about the NBA and they say it's dead. It's not dead for me. Not dead. I love watching the NBA. Like, I can't wait to watch it tonight. Like, I got Raw to watch. I got football to watch. Like, I do. All right, I got my man E2, man. My E2. He says, unscripted sports show. That's my man E's channel. Check him out as well. We're all trying to support each other. He drops he's 2 to 3 times a week, man. Yo, my man RD. Yo, what's up, brother? I hope. Listen, man. The Plus Money prop train is rolling tonight, bro. Again, Plus Money prop train. I can feel it. I can feel it, man. We're doing well on that Plus Money prop train. I gotta. It's been like a week since I hit a parlay though, so we got to get on our parlays again, man. It's killing me. Yes. Listen, Eric. Yes. Eric. Eric. Let me ask you this. And see if you're just like me. I love the West Coast games, like, because even though my kids are older now, they still, they work, and by the time they get home, right? By the time they get home, what they do is they it's like 10 o'clock, 10:30. So it's time, like everybody's calmed down. I sit in front of TV and I watch the West Coast game as long as I can stay up, right? But I love watching the West Coast NBA. I've always have, I always will. So I'm a big NBA guy. I still think there's a lot of great games. I was watching Portland the other night. You want to talk about a young team? That's really Portland's another one that's young and hungry, right? Yeah, love the West Coast games. Love watching the Warriors, especially. But it's not just that, man. It's like, and that's what we've been accustomed to. Phoenix sucks this year. Okay, or they were always a good team to watch, but you got a lot of young teams out there playing well too, man. My man Albert checking in says, "Let's get the props and the parlays." Yo, I put them out earlier in Discord, man. Hopefully, everybody got it. And if you are, and just everybody checking in, if you are, listen, man. If you are not signed up yet, if you are not listen, you got to get over to Jigsaw Society right there, over my sports betting picks page over there on Odd Shopper Tales, man. Again, here's some of the parlays that I'm dropping. This was from last NFL weekend, the plus money prop train last night. We had more plus money props that hit. Got a bunch of other plus money props tonight that are in there. So make sure you get signed up. Make sure you get over there. Again, man, I'll tell you what, if you just do the plus money prop train, we are talking about $20 a month. And off of $20 a month, you're gonna, like, you just made that up last night. Honestly, like, four plus money props hit yesterday. I mean, come on, it's a no brainer. Like, literally, like, if you put $5 on each of those props, guess what? You won your $20 for the month very easily and got your bankroll back. So very, very simple stuff to get into, man. So make sure, and again, if you don't have, I want to post this link. So again, I'm very bad at promoting myself, because I hate to sound like that, but I do work hard at it, put a lot of research in it every day. So again, here is the link if you guys want to check it out. And again, got the own Discord. We got the Discord rolling. All the picks will be in Discord. This is where you can subscribe at right here. Very, very simple. If you're into sports betting, and if you like, I don't do games, I do props. And here's my page right here. It's going to give you my background. You got the jigsaw pieces, you got the plus money prop train, you got some one-on-one coaching if that's something that you want to talk about, but you also got the combo package, which is adding the jigsaw pieces weekly, plus the monthly of the plus money prop train. Gives you that $40 a month. And then what you do, right here, I mean, look, you got to go. This is what you're going to see. Here's the picks that I dropped tonight. Look, we got an anytime touchdown parlay. We got a SGP. We also got an NBA under parlay. Look at plus money prop, jigsaw pieces, jigsaw. These are all for tonight, man. Look at that, all for tonight. So yeah, that's what you get if you're a part of the Jigsaw Society. So make sure you get over there and lock in for either your $20 a month or your $40 a month if you want both. But you will make that money back. You'll essentially be playing for free. I'm not going to say you're going to get rich. I'm not going to say that you're going to be loaded. But what I will say is you will get an ROI. There's no way in hell you are not going to get an ROI. You will get a return on your investment of your money. I can tell you that. Okay. Now, I will tell you this. What was my free pick tonight? I'll give out my free pick now. Okay. So I will give out my free pick now. Let's see. Let's see what my free pick was. I forget. My free pick tonight was, I think I have, there was a reason why I really, really liked it. A lot, again, over Odd Shopper Tales, you get a lot of free picks, man. A lot of free picks. Okay. Now, again, and it didn't last. So I'm gonna share this with you guys. Okay. This was my free pick right here. And it didn't last. And this is why you sign up to the Jigsaw Society, right? So my free pick right here was the plus money for the over 6.5 for Justin Jefferson at plus 100 on FanDuel. Look where it's at right now, minus 128. I placed that today at 142. I say, yo, plus money won't last. Plus money won't last. Grab it And if you are a subscriber, you would have already had it. You would have got the alert, would have been right in Discord, and you would have grabbed it. So that's what you get right there when you sign up, man. I'm going to go I'm going guess Double J ATD. I like that, definitely. When are you going to be back at Pike's Pub? That's a good question. So, Adam, to be honest with you, my schedule has picked up in a good way. I got some announcements coming, and sometimes when you have a lot of opportunities, you have to pick the right opportunities. So for me, doing a 3-hour live show on remote, that took me all day to build, and then an hour setup, an hour breakdown. It didn't pay for me to do that at this current time because I had other opportunities with a fantastic brand called St. Rocco's Dog Treats, which I cannot wait to explain to everybody, man. And if you are not a St. Rocco's customer, man, let me know. If you love your pup, if you love your pet, man, you got to get on the St. Rocco's Dog Treat train. That's all I'm going to tell you. So I got a lot of opportunities with them. So that's where I'm doing. Maybe back there for special events, Adam. But they are a proud supporter of the show. And events will sponsor as well on the digital show. But I thought I could be better by being here and bringing back a better product because I want to do a lot more interviews. I have a lot of things lined up, man. NIL interviews, youth athlete interviews, current athlete interviews, wrestling interviews. I love bringing different people on that maybe you don't know. So that's my goal of this show, and then obviously to cover the topics that everyone wants to cover, but to bring a different side to it too. That's always been my thing. I want to bring a different side. Like tonight, when we talk about the Orlando Magic, right? We talk about the Orlando Magic, and we talk about how young of a team they are, and now that gets my mind going. Right, it gets my mind. I want to bring somebody on. I want to bring somebody on that, listen, my man. Hey, yo, anytime, hey. Honestly, I love it. Like I do media tours all the time. Actually gearing up to do a media tour in February for the Tony Cutillo show. So yeah, let me know, man. Let's hook it up. I would love to do that. Definitely. And make sure you get over to again. I had to tease it a little bit. But I'm going to be joining forces in with a show with somebody on a different network as well. So the goal was to do the Tony Cutillo show 3 nights a week. But now it's going to be 2 nights a week, looking like Tuesdays and Thursdays or Mondays and Thursdays possibly. But again, I'm going to do a show with somebody else that I highly respect on a different network and this network combined, which should be pretty cool. My man E says we should be. I'm in. Eric, I just don't have the cash. Maybe you have the cash, or maybe somebody wants to invest in us, because I think we got some pretty good freaking minds. Maybe we'll just get those parents that embezzle all the money from this, from the soccer people. They got money laying around, right? Nah, in all seriousness, I think it would be great, man. I would. How awesome that would be. Like that's always been, a goal of mine. But man, listen, look, my man Adam, absolute thanks, brother. Listen, Adam, it's a good problem to have, right? I've said it all the time. It's a good problem to have. Yeah, yes. He says we need investors. I paid exactly biggest money grab ever. Biggest money grab ever. And just so everybody knows, I am. Listen, this year there was a lot of opportunities thrown my way, and I really had to dive into each one, and I had to take a step back from certain things, and one of them is the Fighting for Overtime podcast that I started, that I will continue with. It's going to be a part of Rise and React Media. And it's so hard to do so many different things. I love it, but I'm trying to really hunker down, into one vicinity, right? And because I've had some opportunities that I'm going to take that are very beneficial for me and my family, which I'm very happy about, and you guys will hear about them too. But this isn't going away. This isn't going away. This is just going to go back to what I used to be. I'm pivoting, right? In life, you have to pivot sometimes. And the pivot is do the show during the day, which I thought I was going to do. Instead, we're going to be back to night times, okay? Because I took another opportunity during the day that was more beneficial for me, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it. But as always, man, I'm going to get out of here because I want to get ready for Raw. I want to get ready for football. As always, man, I appreciate everybody checking in. I love the support. Make sure you get, if you are a sports bettor, right? If you are a sports bettor, make sure you get over to the Odd Shoppers page, okay, which is right here. Go subscribe. If you're a sports bettor, I would not steer you wrong. I'm the most transparent guy that you will ever meet. If you watch some of my Jigsaw Piece streams, I show you exactly what I do, how I place the bets, when I'm putting the bets on. It's just what I do. And yes, it is a paid Discord. You get the Discord by paying up and by subscribing to the Jigsaw Pieces or the Plus Money Prop Train. It's up to you what you want to do, but it's very, very simple, very easy to follow, and very ROI driven. So I hope that everybody is ready for a good game tonight. I hope that everybody is ready for next week. I'll be back this week, with some more talk. I got a couple interviews lined up. Now that we've been talking about the Orlando Magic, I want to get an Orlando guy on here. My man JD say fly, Eagles fly. Absolutely. Go Birds as always. Let's end it on that, man. Go Birds. We won, right? We won. We want defense wins championships. Remember that. Everybody have a fantastic evening. Hit those bets. Watch that TV. Stay healthy. We'll catch you back here on the Tony Cutillo Show live sometime later this week.